Hey guys, and welcome back to What's the Goss podcast. You're joined with myself, Mali, and my co-host.
Darling! Guess who's back from jail? I don't know if I just deafened
my
my
God. R.I.P. audio listeners. Right, today we are actually recording a video of this as well. We've got a new editing platform.
Really exciting. So we tried to make our backgrounds look as like zen as possible. Hence why I've got candles in the background. And I'm so concerned that my little leaf thing is going to catch on fire now. But hopefully if it does, we'll get some more views out of it. So it's totally fine. At the end of the day, it's a win-win situation. But we're trying out a new recording platform. So hopefully this might be uploaded on YouTube. So if you want to see more of our faces, head on over to YouTube. It should be What's the Goss podcast as per usual. And yeah, so we got some dilemmas today for you guys. We've had a few sent into the email this past week. Not really a general theme with them. To be fair, the past few we've done have either been like Christmas dilemmas, Valentine's Day dilemmas. Now it's kind of just like a bit of everything. And it is a little bit mental in our inbox. So excited to get into these. But I believe we did have a question of the week.
We do.
Mali, what was our question of the week?
So the question of the week this week was, what's the most down bad thing you have done? Now, before we jump into it, I'm going to give you the definition of down bad because I feel like it means different things to different people. I think it has definitely a sexual nature to it to most people, but we've not really gone for that too much because our mums do listen to this podcast. But the definition I got from Urban Dictionary was being down bad is an act of sacrificing your morals and reputation to try and interact with someone romantically, which it is, but I think people also take it in the sense of like to sleep with someone, like what's the most down bad you've been, like that desperate type situation.
Yeah. Because I'm not going to lie, I've been on Reddit and I'm going through these threads and some of them are just completely not understanding the meaning of it. Some people are talking about their depression when they have been down bad, but not like down bad. Also, it's very sexual as well. So
yeah. Okay. So we put this on our Instagram story and we had some really good responses. So I'm going to read some of them out. These are all anonymous, so don't worry about that. So first one is, I drove 3 hours to see him only to find out he was on a date with someone else before he saw me.
Oh God.
Like,
that's awful. I don't right. How do people have the energy to like date two people in one night as well? Like surely you're just like tired after one. Like surely you're getting a bit of deja vu talking about the same sort of things.
You're surely speaking about the same thing, like to each person, especially if it's a first date. You're literally just like one after the next.
Acting like I've been on a first date before.
Like 3 hours as well to drive for someone that is down bad. That is.
That's a lot of petrol.
I feel really sorry for you. That must have cost you a fortune.
Yeah.
3 hours. I don't even drive that far for work. And I get paid for that. Are you getting paid to see this guy? Like, is he paying for your fuel? Because I wouldn't be driving anywhere near that amount of time for anyone.
Yeah, he should be doing that for you. I'm sorry.
Right. Next up. I chose a uni close to his and then later found out he had a long-term girlfriend, which he had lied about for 7 months.
So that's not even driving 3 hours. That is wasting at least £9,250 average UK tuition on being close to him. And now you can't even escape him because you've chosen to go to that uni for him.
And for him to have a girlfriend for 7 months that you didn't know about. You were the other woman and you didn't know. That's pretty shit. Sorry. All right, last one from me. When I was 17, I was obsessed with my friend's brother, so I purposely got a job where he worked to see him more. That's down bad.
Oh, God, that is down bad.
Man in the world, and you were 17. Boy, I don't know how old he was, probably an older brother. I feel like I would have done that at like 14 or something. Like, really want a job in Tesco all of a sudden, ma'am. Wonder why.
To be fair, Tesco is really hard to get into though. I have tried to apply for a job at Tesco before, right? And you have to answer, this was before the job crisis of COVID. And I was
Mm.
like, right, I really want a new job. I'm going to apply for Tesco, decent place to work. The uniform is really nice, or was. You have to fill out this questionnaire, which I did. And it had questions like, if your customer wants a gluten-free cereal, like specific gluten-free cereal, and it's out of stock, what do you do? Do you direct them online to get that cereal, or do you show them alternatives? And I was like, well, you show them alternatives because they need their cereal in the morning. They don't have time to like order online and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
That was wrong. You have to like send them online because that's what the customer wanted. And I failed. So Tesco didn't want me. And I'm sorry, now they're putting out so many job adverts. And I'm like, well, you could have had me, but you didn't. And
I
then I
know,
started working
right?
at
I
Lush.
have
So
worked in a shop. I don't know if you guys know Spa, Blakemoor Spa. I had worked in Spa for nearly 2 years on and off, like one big stint and then a couple of months again. Same
yeah.
shop, like really good. They rejected me at Tesco for that quiz. It literally rejected me based on that quiz. It's like, what quiz is this? Like, why do I need a flipping degree in answering a quiz to get to work in Tesco? Like, I've got 2 years worth of experience in a shop and you're declining me. Make it make
Yeah.
sense.
It's like a
Harder to
models
get in
thing.
there.
It's like a models quiz. It's not just like general customer knowledge. It's like very
Yeah.
specific. And like I don't get it. I'm sorry, Tesco. You need to actually humble yourself at the moment. And now they're short staffed. So
Yeah, like, what did you expect? You wouldn't even let people who have good experience work for you. Like,
we're going to jump straight into the dilemmas.
mhm.
We have some very strong candidates this week. We have some really interesting headings. The one that I want to get straight into first, I was a bit like, oh, right, okay. I don't know how to feel about that title. Just for
Mhm.
context, in case you're a first time listener, because this is obviously going on YouTube, we do not read these dilemmas prior. They get sent in. We read the titles. We're like, what the hell? And then we
Mhm.
judge it from that, basically. So me and Mali
Yes.
both saw this specific title, and I think you know which one I'm going to read out. Come in, and we were like, "Oh, that is a bit of like a dilemma." Well, obviously they're dilemmas.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Mhm.
this
Oh,
one says,
before we start, if you have a dilemma, send it to our inbox, which is gosspodcast@gmail.com. You can make a fake email address or you can just use your real one. We will never share them with anyone. We will never read them out. It's all anonymous. How many episodes have we got now? We've got over 20 episodes. No one has ever been
over
exposed.
30
Over 30 episodes. No one's ever been
now.
exposed. Also, if you want to hear any of our other episodes, they're all on any single platform you can think of: Spotify, Apple Music, all of them, all the free sites, they're on there. And now, hopefully, YouTube and TikTok as well. So head over there and you can listen to the
Amazing.
previous dilemmas as well. But yeah, sorry, Sadie, continue.
That's fine. Okay, so this title reads, "My boyfriend went to the spa with his girl best friend." And to me, right, when I think of a spa, that is a very couple activity. Like, why are you
Mm,
getting steamy in the sauna with your girl best friend? Like, that doesn't sit right with me. But anyway, it says, "Hey ladies," I love getting referred to as ladies as well. It makes me feel mature.
mm.
It's usually girls, isn't it?
I'm like,
"Hey ladies, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed and could really use some advice on a situation that's been weighing heavily on my mind. My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 incredible years, and for the most part, our relationship has been nothing short of amazing. We share a deep connection, trust, and love for each other that's truly special." That's always nice to hear. We
oh,
don't
that's
usually hear
nice.
stuff like that.
Mm.
We usually hear, "My boyfriend's a prick. I don't love him anymore." So this is nice when we hear
Yeah,
stuff
it's
like
nice
this.
that wholesome. Yeah, but this is going to go downhill, isn't it? So,
Yeah, it always starts with the
foreshadowing.
however. Yeah. "However, recently something happened that left me feeling uneasy. My boyfriend has his childhood best friend named Sandra." Names I usually change to Sandra just for reference in my dilemmas. "Now, I've always been supportive of their friendship because I understand the importance of having close friends, especially those you've known for a long time. I've never had any suspicions about them up until this point. Sandra is incredibly beautiful, but she's but says she thinks of my boyfriend as a brother. But here's where things took a bit of a turn. It was Sandra's birthday, and instead of just grabbing lunch or catching a movie like friends typically do, my boyfriend decided to take her to the spa. Yep, you read that right, the spa. Go for
That's
lunch.
weird. Yeah,
Lunch.
yeah. Why the spa? Like, you want to see her in a bikini?
Yeah, literally. And I'm sorry, like a spa, that is, again, they sell like couples packages. Are they having like couples massages? Like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, like you lying
everyone's
like
thinking they're
on
a
a
couple
bed.
in that spa. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Are you lying in the couple's massage room? Like, I love this massage. Like, oh, it's so like nice and hot and sweaty with you. Like, I'm sorry, this is just odd behaviour. Like, go for lunch or go for a
Oh,
drink.
that just really gives
But
red flag.
yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for celebrating birthdays and treating your friends, but isn't going to the spa a bit intimate? I mean, there is something about sitting in a sauna or getting massages together that feels more like a couple's activity than a platonic hangout. Yeah. When I
Mm.
brought up my concerns with my boyfriend, he reassured me that there's absolutely nothing romantic between them and that they've always just been friends. And while I want to believe him and trust his word, I can't shake off this nagging feeling in the back of my mind. I keep replaying I keep replaying scenarios in my head, imagining them laughing together in the jacuzzi or sharing a steamy sauna session, and it's driving me crazy. I know jealousy isn't healthy for any relationship, but I can't help but feel a little insecure about the whole situation. Am I overreacting? Should I just brush it off and let them enjoy their friendship without reading too much into it, or do I have a valid reason to be concerned?
That is a tricky one because she did say that at the start they have a really wholesome and like healthy relationship.
Mm.
So I feel like she doesn't really have any grounds that are like leading up to this, if you know what I mean. There's not been like a few suspicions or some shady behavior before this. Like she was completely fine about things, and it's just this one sort of event that's made her think differently.
Yeah.
So to be honest, I think our initial response is like going to the spa, a boy and a girl who are just friends, is a little bit odd. But then again, are we just being really like closed minded about things? Because at the end of the day, me and you would go to the spa, no one would bat an eyelid. Like, do you know what I mean? What if,
It's
yeah, like, what if like two boys went to the spa, two girls went to the spa, or like two boys went to the spa and they were both gay but they were just friends? Like you know, then they're the people who are interested in the same sex, like couple of friends are. You know, they're opposite
yeah.
genders, they're attracted, you know, they're attracted to the opposite sex, whatever. But if it was like, you know, I feel like if you change it to any other circumstance, you wouldn't think it was weird. But because it's a boy and a girl, you're like, oh, they must be like sleeping together, like
Mm.
that's why. And I'm not gonna lie, if it was my boyfriend and he was going to the spa with his girl best friend, I would be a bit like, he doesn't have a girl best friend for a start, because like, come on, we know they're not allowed one around here. Like, let's not even sugarcoat it. I'm not even gonna
I'm not going to pretend,
pretend.
guys. Like, I'm sorry. Like, we hear loads of podcasts being like, oh, it's like fine. But like, I think we spoke about this before. And I think
Mm,
the dilemmas that me and Mally get sent in as well just kind of like reiterate what we kind of think about that. Like,
yeah,
I'm all for girls and guys being friends. Like, you can totally be friends with guys. However, I think we've both had, and I know every single girl has had a similar experience where they've had a boy best friend and all of a sudden they get a text one day that's like, I need to tell you something. There's a girl I really like. You know her very well. Like that kind of thing. And to
yeah,
be fair, with this scenario, I'm not too worried because of the fact that she's like, oh yeah, like he's like my brother. Like it really doesn't seem like there's been anything which has given you
no,
suspicions in the past to do with this. It's just like this one scenario, which is good. Like we definitely feel different if there were several events leading up to it, like flirty text messages, like maybe they slept together in the past, but they haven't, and your boyfriend's insistent that nothing's going on. So like I wouldn't worry too much about this unless things start happening after this sauna, which could happen because they've both seen each other all hot and sweaty. Like I highly doubt that's something they've seen each other as before. So just maybe like keep a more extra of an eye on that sort of scenario. But like I wouldn't worry too much about this.
yeah.
Um
Did they say how long they've been friends?
yeah, childhood best friends, it says.
Childhood. That changes things for me. It's not as if they met a few years ago. I feel like they very much could be brother and sister vibe, and I don't think it would be really weird for a brother and sister to go to a spa together, would it? Or would
No,
that be a
definitely
bit weird?
not. I think
I
that
don't
if
know.
it was like a girl best friend that he'd met like last year, I would literally be like twitching. Like I'd be like, "We're
Yeah.
going to the spa." Like, sorry, that's a bit. But when it's like you've known each other since you were like 4 or something, or like 6, not
Mm.
like last year.
I
That
think
wouldn't.
it's
I'm sorry,
I
I couldn't.
think it's
But
not enough
if
to
it was,
be, yeah, it's not enough to
mm,
be suspicious about at the moment, but if it was to progress, then maybe. But you could just explain to him, like, I can't lie, I felt a little bit uncomfortable about you going to the spa with Sandra because it just feels a bit intimate, like it feels like a very coupley thing to do, and like, you know, you're sat there in quite close proximity, like laughing around in the water, like in your bikini, like it's a bit it's a bit like intimate, so I'm not really sure how I feel about it. And then he might come back and say like, oh no, it wasn't like that at all. We were like swimming laps in the pool and like running through the showers, like, you know, being silly. Like it might have just been really harmless like that. Or they might just be very mature, wholesome people who just want to go and relax together and like, you know, they don't see each other as objects and they don't like sexualize each other. So it's not like that at all. In which case, brilliant, and you have nothing to worry about. So I would say keep it in the back of your mind, express to your boyfriend that you did feel a little bit like funny about this and see what his response is. If he's really defensive about it, then maybe you could like keep that in mind and maybe like be a little bit suspicious. But if he's just really open and honest and like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize you felt that way, like I really didn't see it that way at all, then
Mm.
fine. And if he's been friends with her since childhood, I'm going to assume you've like met her and stuff before and you're probably like kind of friends with her. So maybe just try and involve yourself more in their friendship. Like obviously you don't want to take over, but maybe just try and be friends with her as well so that you kind of feel as if like nothing could ever happen there.
Yeah, and then maybe you can go to the spa with them next time.
Hmm. Okay, moving on to the next dilemma. Right. This is titled Talking Stage Gone Wrong. Okay.
Mm.
Hi, ladies. Loving these recent episodes. I have a dilemma and I'm hoping you can help. I recently found out that the guy I've been seeing is still dating other people. I thought that we were exclusive as we had had a conversation about only seeing each other. But when I was around his uni flat the other day, I saw a Tinder pop up on his notifications. I asked him about it and he said he doesn't use it. I found it odd, like, why not just delete it from your phone? Do I have any grounds to question him or be upset? I feel deeply hurt by this and no longer feel I can trust him. Please give me your advice.
Yeah, you do have a valid reason to be concerned. I'm sorry, like if you've made it exclusive, you've had that conversation, even out of respect, like he should be deleting that app. Even if he's just like, oh yeah, like the app still sends you notifications even when you're not active to just try and get you onto the app. Like, why would you still have the app on your phone? Like it just gives like, I'm just not sure about this talking stage and like I'm kind of keeping this as like a backup, if you know what I mean. So yeah, you definitely have grounds to be upset about.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like at the end of the day, you've had that conversation. We have a lot of dilemmas where people write in and they say, I don't know what we are. I don't know if like if I have any grounds to be upset. And they're the people who haven't had that conversation about being exclusive. All you can do to really
Mm,
make sure that someone understands what you're thinking is having that conversation. And you have had that. You've expressed how you feel. It sounds as if you agreed to being exclusive. So to me, exclusive means you're one step away from being boyfriend and girlfriend. You're not seeing other people. And Tinder is for
yeah.
seeing other people. That's the whole point, is to find someone on Tinder. So why has he still got that? It seems like he's still looking for something. And this whole, oh,
Mm,
I've not been using it. Come on, it pops up on your phone every day. You're telling me you're not using it. If you weren't using it, you'd either turn notifications off or delete the app, or you are going on it. You are literally clicking on those notifications. Like I don't really believe that they'd be popping up on his phone like, and when I say popping up on his phone, by that she means like messages popping up. Like, I
yeah,
don't
that's
think
what I was
people are
going to say. I
replying
was like,
to complete air, are they? They're obviously replying to his message.
yeah, like I know I haven't been on a dating app before, but I've been on Bumble BFF, which is like a friend dating app, and it'll
Mm,
send you notifications being like you've got a new match, like
mm,
those kinds of things to just like keep you on the app. Is it that
yeah.
kind of notification? Or is it like Sandra sent you a message?
It sounded if I mean she didn't say, but either way, if you're matching with people, then you've probably been swiping, haven't you? Unless it's
Yeah,
like historic. But then again, like I feel like she said that they've got to the point of exclusive, so it sounds as if maybe they met on Tinder possibly, and they've been
mm,
on a couple of dates, like they've decided to be exclusive. So that's obviously happened over the course of quite a few weeks. So by then, you'd have
yeah,
think all the matches would have like matched him back. You're not getting like many notifications about that. Your account may have even become like inactive. I don't know how long it takes to become like inactive, but me and my boyfriend met on Tinder. And if I saw Tinder like pop up on his phone when we just decided to be exclusive, I would be really upset, like really hurt. I completely agree. I wouldn't feel like I could trust him because that goes against like our conversation, and it makes me feel stupid. Like, why have I deleted the app off my phone and not given anyone the time
Mm.
of day, and you're still like chatting to people, and like stupid conversations probably as well that aren't even going to go anywhere, because like he's probably realistically not interested in even meeting up with them. He's just like doing it as a pastime, which is just disrespectful.
Because, like, to be fair, I think this kind of it's. I know you're not boyfriend and girlfriend, but it borders the boundaries of like what cheating would be. Like, you know, you're messaging other people. So I think that if you're having these things pop up now when you're just exclusive, like, I think that trust is going to fade actually into the actual relationship. So I can't see this moving forward, to be honest, because I think that it's going to lead you to a lot of paranoia about like what's on his phone, and it'll lead you to like checking his phone in the relationship, which you don't really want to get to that stage where you're worried about notifications popping up on his phone. That can cause a lot of mistrust in the relationship itself. So I would say, to be fair, there's going to be guys out there who are better than this guy. He kind of does seem like he's just wanting a bit of fun. Like, he doesn't really seem like he wants anything serious. Maybe even like in the love bombing stage where he's like, yeah, I'll be exclusive with you, but still like speaking to other girls, when, you know, he's maybe just not ready for a relationship. And there are guys out there who are ready for a relationship. So I would say, break it off with this guy, because he has really ruined this. Like, why are you still on Tinder? Really odd behavior. And
Mm,
yeah, there are guys out there who are going to treat you a lot better than that.
agreed. Do you think it's worth her bringing it up to him and asking, and maybe he could like show her that he hasn't been speaking to people? Like, do you think there's like a last like
Mm.
effort and attempt to try and like resolve things, or do you think it's just been off?
Again, it does depend on what the notification was. Like, if it was like Ellie
Mm,
sent you a message, you'd be like, what the hell? Like, that's just kind of
yeah.
confirmed for you. Because like you said,
Mm,
girls aren't just gonna be messaging if they're not getting anything back. So
no.
definitely, if it was that case, literally just break it off. He doesn't deserve an explanation. But if it's just like trying to get you onto the app, I would just say like, oh, I'm really uncomfortable with you still having Tinder on your phone. You know, we've made things exclusive. Like, what's kind of the reason for this message coming up? See what he says. If he gets all defensive, bin off.
Yeah, I agree. I think ask him if he's not upfront about it and he doesn't show you these messages between so and so, and showing you, like, if he just shows you and it's like him, hey, 12 weeks ago, her, hey, today, and like there's nothing else,
Yeah,
then fab. But if there's conversation going on and you can see it's been in the like since you decided to be exclusive, then bit off.
1000%. Title of this one is My Husband's Coworker and His Sexy Private Story Snaps. Okay, so if you don't know what a private story is, which, you know, you guys probably do by listening to this podcast, if you're a recurring listener, you have your
Mm,
story on Snapchat similar to Instagram. However, you can also make like a separate story, kind of like a close friends list on Instagram, where only certain people can see a story throughout the day. Me and Mali love our private stories. We use it to vlog our days, like problems that we're having, like we just need to vent. It's a great place. Um, but yeah, okay. So this one says, hey girls, I need some honest advice. Long time listener, but first time writer inner. Good for you. A lot of
ooh,
people never think they're going to write in until something happens. So
they
thank you
do.
for writing in. So I've got this whole drama unfolding with my husband and his co-worker. Let's call her Sandra. I'm distant friends with Sandra outside work, but I've only ever met her when I attend my husband's work events, like Christmas parties. And that's a really good thing if your husband is inviting you to work events like Christmas parties as well. Because if you're having like suspicions about a coworker, it's good that he's not like hiding you at home when you're allowed to bring like a plus one, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that's actually one of the times that things definitely go down between colleagues. And if you're there
Mm.
and like nothing's happening, then that's definitely a good sign. Because if you wanted something to happen between them, I feel like it would be at the Christmas party, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's true. Christmas parties are messy. Um, okay. For context, my husband and I are both 36, together for 6 years and married for 3. Their working relationship has always been fine, or so I thought. Sandra, who works in the office, is 25 and runs this Snapchat story, and my husband is on it. No big deal, right? Wrong. Sandra's snaps are anything but innocent. They're downright steamy, bordering on provocative. Okay,
Ooh.
I'm friends with Sandra on Snapchat too, and I'm also on this private story, so I see exactly what she's putting out there. And knowing my husband is being bombarded by these risky snaps from someone he interacts with daily at work on a daily basis has me seeing red. I mean, I trust my husband, but this feels like a whole other level of boundary crossing. Okay, so basically, you're worried that because he's on this story and she's posting like sexy snaps, you're just getting paranoid that that's gonna like lead into real life and he's gonna be working with her and seeing
Yeah.
her and like and stuff. Like, that's a bit odd.
It seems
Like
like a
private.
huge boundary crossed regardless. Like a work
Mm.
colleague that you're low key on their OnlyFans, like by the sounds of it. Like you're on their weird Twitter page by the sounds of it. Like, why are you on there? You work together, you have to see each other in the office 9 o'clock the next morning. 12 o'clock the night before, Sandra's posting thong pictures in the mirror, then you're bumping into her making a coffee in the kitchen. Like, sorry? And your wife's on there as well. Like the audacity for her to even have you both on there. It's like she wanted you to know, oh yeah, by the way, like Brian's seeing this like every
Can you
night.
imagine?
Like
Can you imagine her husband sitting down for breakfast in the morning? Like you just like see him swiping through his phone, and then all of a sudden, oh, Sandra's got a new bra. Like,
that's really weird. And I feel like that must go against some sort of like office policy. Like I don't know, that
mm,
that seems really, really wrong to me. And like how private is this story if you've literally met her a couple of times and you're on the private story? Like it seems like bloody everyone's on the private story.
that's so true because you said they're like acquaintances as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Debated confronting him about it, but I'm torn. Part of me wants to believe he's just innocently scrolling through without a second thought, while the other part can't shake off the feeling that something more might be going on behind the scenes. Why would he be a part of this story, anyways? But wait, here's where the pot. Oh, ooh. But wait, here's where the plot thickens. I recently noticed some cryptic messages between them, exchanged during odd hours, mostly innocent, talking about their days at work. However, I can't help feel immense jealousy as she is a gorgeous girl and he has seen her thong. Am I unreasonable for feeling this way?
Oh, right. Where do I get started on this one? Okay. First of all, there's no way he's just scrolling through that innocently. I'm telling you now, if one of my colleagues made a weird story like that and was posting weird pics, I don't care if I find them the ugliest person on the planet. I'm looking at them in detail. Because what are you doing? Like, it's embarrassing. Like, I'd be like, what the hell? Like, what the hell? I'd be looking at their bedroom like, oh, that's where they live. Oh, that's the pants they wear.
It's
I'd
the
be like,
Zoom
what?
background.
I would be really
Uniforms off the wall
shocked.
by
I'd
the
be
bed.
there looking at it like, what the hell? And if he fancies this woman, which he might not fancy her, but say now he finds her attractive, which if she's a really good looking 25-year-old, chances are he probably does think she might be pretty because, like, everyone is attracted to other people, even if you're married. Like, of course, you're going to think that person's attractive. So
Mm-hmm.
then seeing her in her underwear provocatively, and he's like knowing that she's added him onto this, it's a bit like kinky, isn't it? It's a bit like, oh, she added me onto this, she wants me to see it. And then, like, are you just not even like mentioning it in the office? Like, you're just pretending like nothing's happened, like you haven't just seen her like pictures on
Yeah,
Snapchat. I don't get
again,
it.
we find it so weird that this wife is also a part of the story. Like, this actually must have like her whole Snapchat base on it. Like, I'm all
Mm,
for like obviously girls posting like bikini photos. Like, I post bikini photos on my main, like free of charge. Like, this is kind of like
mm,
OnlyFans content from what it sounds like. Her thong pictures. Like, nobody's going on Instagram and posting their thong.
not
But
to
it does
their
feel a bit weird
colleagues.
that you're on this private story, so is he. It might be like a little bit of a power thing, like, oh yeah, by the way, your husband's on this, and also you are as well, considering we've literally never
Mm.
met.
Well,
Really
they met
odd.
at the party, did they?
They had what?
You said they met at the Christmas party.
Oh yeah, so they met at the Christmas party, but then again, like that,
They've not. They're
if
not
I met
friends.
my co-worker's wife at a Christmas party and never like formed a friendship with her, I wouldn't be adding her onto my private story where I'm ranting about like the fact that Tesco has
Definitely
no
not.
tomatoes, that kind of thing. Like, I literally rant about tomato shortages on there. I'm not adding my like colleague's wife on there. I wouldn't worry too much about like the messages because it kind of seems like they're just talking about like their day at work, like maybe it's work related, but then also that paired with the fact you're worried that she's like 25, she's a stunning girl, she's got a private story, she's posting a thong. I can see how it can kind of like form all together. And you are saying like I've debated confronting him about it.
But
I
then she
don't
still
know because he
admits
hadn't
it.
added himself on, but then he also hasn't left the private story.
Yeah.
I'd leave.
Right. Yeah.
I
This is
can't
the
say I would leave.
protocol. Yeah. This is the protocol. If I'm a 36-year-old man who has a wife, I am removing myself from that story instantly. Firstly,
Yeah.
it's disrespectful. You're my colleague. I don't want to see you like that. I have respect for you. I don't want to see you like that. Respectfully, I'm removing myself. Not only because my wife is going to kick off, but because I have respect for our colleague relationship. and the workplace. Secondly, why are you texting each other anyway? Like, I don't really get it. Like, if I was married, I wouldn't be texting my 25-year-old like colleague. Do you know what I mean? Like when
Yeah,
she's
you've got to
posting
have
stuff
like
like that,
bubble.
it's obvious that she's purposely done that to add me and
Yeah.
like for me to see it. It seems like she has a different motive than you do, and I'd be extremely uncomfortable. And she said cryptic messages as well, which is suggesting to me that
Mhm.
it's more than just like, did you file that paperwork? It's stuff that like doesn't need to be said. And also like you see each other in work every day. Like I don't think you need to be talking outside of work like regularly. I can't lie. Like
As a married man as well, you have got to have some sort of thought as to how that's going to look to your wife if she found out that you were texting your 25-year-old co-worker who's posting
mm,
thong photos about things that aren't necessarily related to work, like cryptic messages. Like, what does that mean? That's quite cryptic. Like, you need to explain further.
yeah,
What are the
that's very
cryptic
cryptic of
messages?
you.
That's all cryptic. That's a cryptic
Yeah.
way of putting it.
Mm.
But yeah, I would say I think I would confront him and be like, just
Mm.
like I'd probably say like, oh, like have you seen like what Sandra's been posting lately? And he might be like, yeah, like I have, like it's a bit crazy. And I'm like, I'd say I do feel a little bit uncomfortable about you seeing that, considering you work together. Don't you think it's a little bit odd that she posts things like that? Like I'm on it, it's for you to see as well. And then depending on his reaction, I wonder what he would say. He might be like, no, like it's fine, I don't mind seeing it. Or he might also be like, oh, like I don't want to see that, kind of playing it like he doesn't. Like, oh, this is I don't want to see her in a thong. And I'm like, well, remove
Mm.
remove yourself then.
I wouldn't be that polite about it, to be honest. I'd sit him down. I'd say, I'm on that private story. Remove yourself. Remove yourself. I'm removing myself. I don't want to see her ass again this week. I've had enough. I've had it up to here with her ass pictures on my Snapchat. This 25-year-old woman I've met once at the Christmas party. What does she think this is? I feel a bit, like you're a predator. You're adding me to that. It's odd. Like, why? Why have you selected me?
It's a bit
What are you
exposure.
trying to
It's
do?
a bit
Coerce me into
exposure.
something like,
And then Monday morning coffee and it just flashes up and you're like, oh, that's like,
yeah,
when you get sent there.
I don't like that at all. I would
You didn't
honestly
consent to see
consider
that
that
photo.
it's low-key cheating because at the end of the day, how do you know they've not spoke about this in work and she's gone, oh yeah, I've got this sexy private story. Do you want to be added? And he's gone, yeah. Has there been
Do you
something
want me
that's
to
led
add
to him being added to this?
right?
Because it seems a bit odd.
Yeah.
Seems a bit out of the
Imagine
blue.
them like coming into work the next morning. I'm standing by the coffee machine. Oh, so what do you get up to last night? That would be
Yes,
it.
I saw
Sorry.
what you got up to. Saw what you had for dinner, love. In that picture. It's that
Oh, your work
graphic.
uniform.
Saw your work uniform on the floor. As soon as you got in, you stripped off, took a picture in the mirror. Am I the only one on this private story? Me and my wife. Like, are you trying to initiate something between us all? Like, is this I don't know. Are you into that? Like, are you into sleeping with married couples? Like, I'm really not understanding
You
this.
might be. You never
Maybe.
know.
I didn't,
I
I mean,
doubt. I
whatever floats your boat, I guess. But again, cryptic, maybe be a bit more upfront rather than just adding a husband and wife to a supposed private story. Because if she'd named it like something that was really obvious that it was just for them, then sure, maybe they'd get the message. But just like a random private story, they're never going to suss out that that was for that reason. Okay, moving on to the next dilemma. So the title is My Relationship Has Gone Downhill. Please help. Okay.
could
Hey,
mean
Mali and
anything.
Sadie, I'm really loving your pod. It's made me really want to start my own. Firstly,
Oh,
100% do it. I don't have a regret at all from doing this. It's only been a good experience for us, really, hasn't it? So I would say 100% do it. Anyway, we'll move on to your
that's
dilemma. I have a dilemma I'm hoping you can help. Recently, my boyfriend and I have moved in together and our relationship has taken a huge hit by this. I thought moving in together would be amazing. I spent the majority of the start of our relationship thinking about moving in together and how lovely it would be to have a home together. However, since we moved in together, he has become a different person. He is so lazy and does nothing around the house and expects me to do it all. I do all the washing and cooking, and he just sits around all day playing FIFA. He only works 3 days a week, so he is always skint. I don't understand why he doesn't just get another part time job or ask for more hours. When I ask him to do anything, he gets in a strop and we end up arguing. We both have different communication styles, so when we argue, I like to talk it out and not go to bed on an argument. However, he likes to have his space and avoid the situation. This causes a huge rift because he feels like I'm suffocating him. I know you both live with your partners. Do you have any advice for living together? I don't think I can go on like this. I just don't even want to be in the same room as him at the moment. How do I stress to him that his behaviour is not okay? Am I being overbearing? I hate the way this has turned out. Our relationship was so good before this, but we only saw each other 2 or 3 times a week and not every single day. Please help.
This sort of thing can happen to relationships when you start moving in with your partner, because I feel like you
Mhm.
do see a different side of them. I'm a really big advocate for not getting married until you've lived with your partner, because I think that you do need to see if you are compatible in that sense as well.
Yeah.
Because seeing each other 2 or 3 times a week when you're kind of all dolled up, like making a big effort, maybe planning like a nice date, is totally different to maybe seeing somebody like sleeping till 11 every day, like not doing the washing up. Like those kinds of things really grate on you, and it does form like new problems in relationships. But the fact that he's kind of taken it to this extent, like I know that people, I myself am not great with like tidying up, like I'll admit that fully, like I'm not great with it. um but when you're taking it to that extreme, when you're not even doing any cooking or anything, it just screams like, I am not prepared to be living by myself without my parents anymore. Like I can't live by myself. I don't know how to take care of myself. And he's kind of like, possibly, I'm guessing that he's just moved out of his parents' home. He's passed all of
Mm.
those duties that somebody else would have done for him, like his mum, onto you. And it's like, you didn't sign up to be his mother. Like you're not cooking and cleaning and doing his laundry. Like that's really odd. That should be shared 50-50. Like you're not his mum. You did not sign up for this.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he definitely has just gone from not doing anything from his for himself to just getting you to do it all. Because if he was doing things for himself at home, I feel like he would have carried that behavior on to living together. But it doesn't sound as if that was the case. It sounds like maybe his parents have been babying him a bit, if that was the case. And now he's just like very used to that type of lifestyle. I think the biggest thing is with this kind of thing, and me and my partner have lived together for a long time now, is communication and realizing people's styles of living, if that makes sense. Because when me and my boyfriend first moved in together, um, we were it was a little bit of a difficult time at points because we are quite different in terms of like attachment style as well. Like for example, my boyfriend could easily like spend all day by himself, like gaming, same kind of thing as this guy, like very happy to spend time by himself. He doesn't really like to be like with someone else the whole time. He needs his own space to recharge, and I can understand that a lot of people do. Whereas I'm a very like social, energetic person most of the time, and my social battery doesn't really run out with like people I'm close with, like especially my partner. Like I feel like I can spend like endless amount of times with him and I'm not really going to get like tired or bored of speaking to him, whereas he feels the need to really like recuperate his energy away from me, which is completely fine. And I think when you first move in together, there's that kind of like expectation that you're going to be spending a lot of time together, and that was the expectation I had. And when it was like, oh no, I want my space, it was like I was really hurt by that. I was like, oh, but I thought like this was how it was supposed to be. Like we're supposed to be watching TV together every night, cooking dinner together every night, and all of this. Like I found it difficult that he wanted to spend like hours apart from me when we were both living in the same house, like at the same time, because it just felt a bit rude to me. But now, as time has gone on, it's so different. Like I feel like if anything, I'm quite glad that his attachment style is like that because it's made me feel like really independent. Like not only am I living with my partner, which is great, but I've also got my own independence as well. And especially because he works such long hours as well, I'm not in like a very like what they call it, like um you know what I mean?
Dependent.
Like we don't rely on each other too much. Like we are independent people at the same time, which is really healthy for the relationship. So I don't know. I think the best thing to do in this situation, because I can kind of relate to it in a way, apart from like the cleaning up and stuff, I feel like my boyfriend didn't bring that kind of attitude into things. If anything, he's more like that now. Like he's gotten used to me being a clean person and tidying everything up. So now he's slacking like a few years into the relationship. But that's something that obviously can be communicated. But a few months into living together, I feel like he should be making an effort a bit more. And I do think that it's not just a case of he's like being a bit sloppy. It's like this is his style of living and he's not actually like grown up and had to do it himself. So
Mm.
yeah, I think you need to have a conversation with him, which is what we always say, but I do think communication is key. I don't think you should throw your relationship away over this, because moving in together is supposed to be challenging. I think it's very much like glamorized, and I don't think it should be, because you're literally going from spending quite a small amount of time with someone to like every single day. And a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, but I sleep over my boyfriend's house like 5 days a week, like we basically live together. And I'm like, no, you do not know what it's like to live together until you actually have your name on that lease or on that mortgage. I'm telling you now, because it doesn't even matter. Like, even if you're living in his house, he's living in yours, it's totally different when you've got equal responsibility over the bills. That can cause a strain on your relationship, like financial arguments. You know, the allocating of household chores, that can cause arguments. There's so many different things that you would never argue about if you didn't actually live together. And I completely agree with Sadie that you should live together before you get married, because I feel like you don't truly know someone until you've lived with them 100%. You see a completely different side to someone when you live together, and that's not always a positive. You might realize you're not compatible. You might realize you can't put up with their behavior. Um, and if they don't change after the conversation, then that's when you should start considering, is this relationship right for you?
Yeah, definitely. And I also think because you live together, please don't let that like really nice spark that you guys had before die. Because, like I said earlier, like it's one thing going from like seeing each other, making a really big effort 2 or 3 days a week, then living together where you're basically just like playing in video games and just not washing up after yourself. And it can be quite easy to fall into a routine when that kind of thing happens. So it can be quite helpful to set like a little date night where you guys even make dinner together or go out to a restaurant, like get all dressed up like you used to. Because I'm guessing you don't do that anymore. And that can be quite difficult because when you are seeing each other that 2 to 3 times a week, it's to do something special. You're not just sitting around, like you're not going over his house and he's just playing like his video games like he is now. Like you're going out to do something fun, maybe like mini golf or dinner. And yeah, when you live together, it's very easy to fall into a routine where you don't do anything exciting at all. So once you sort him out for not cleaning up after himself, which needs to be addressed, because that kind of thing can really grate on you. I'm guilty of it
Mm.
myself, but like not to that extent. Once you've kind of sorted that out, like talk through that, just make sure you kind of set like maybe a Friday night or just a day that you kind of both have off work to get all dressed up, go do something fun, and just like remind yourself why you're still in this relationship, because it can be difficult when you're in a situation like this to remember why you're living together and why you're in a relationship in the first place.
Definitely. Like, it becomes very adult and very boring very quickly when you move in together. There might be like a few months of like fun, like, oh, we're living together, but like I don't think in reality it's like that. She mentioned as well, like him
Mm.
only working 3 days a week. I think that could be a problem as well. I think you're spending too much time together as well. Like, you are going to feel quite suffocated if you're going from seeing each other 2 to 3 times a week to now you're living in the same house as him. You might have like your 2 days off work, whatever, and he's there like when you're in work sitting around playing FIFA, and then maybe like, you just feel like, what are you doing all day? Like, you could be tidying up. Why am I getting home from work and you've done nothing when you've been sat on your ass all day? Like, it's not really, it doesn't sound like there's an equal balance of like chores and things going on. um I do think as well, like, if he's skint and he's only working 3 days a week, I mean, you didn't mention how old you were, but most of our listeners from our analytics are between like the age of sort of like 16, 17, and like 30. So you're going to be somewhere within that age range. And I think anybody between those age range, like, I don't know what the excuse is for working 3 days a week. That sounds to me like you're retiring, like you're on the brink of retirement, like you're in your prime in terms of like physical health. Why are you working 3 days a week and being skint? Like, I think you should get out there and get another job, make up the hours, or like you said, ask your job for more hours. Like, what's the excuse for that? It seems very lazy to me. Unless there's a genuine reason, then I wouldn't be liking that. I wouldn't be liking the fact that I'd be worried that he's going to be able to make like financial commitments to me that month in terms of bills and things.
Yeah,
That
and
would
like how
really,
is he paying these bills in the first place? Like you have utility bills, you have your food shopping bills. Like it seems like you work quite a lot, but he's like 3 days a week. How are you paying your rent and everything on
yeah.
top of that with that?
He must be earning quite good money. Maybe he's like a tradie or something, and he's like doing 3 days a week of like, I don't know, bricklaying or something. I don't know, but 3 days a week couldn't get me by at all. Like, that wouldn't pay for anything. So, like, he's literally
It's
working part
true.
time. Like, at a young age by the sounds of it, which, and if he was earning good money and he wasn't skint, amazing, like why would you not? But if you're skint and you're not working like a full 5 day week, then like it just kind of seems like you're avoiding it, and it's like I don't really like
Mm.
that, especially when the other
Yeah.
person is like kind of picking up for that as well. I don't really like that. So yeah, definitely sit down and just voice how you're feeling, because otherwise you're just going to end up resenting him, and then you can't really completely blame him because you've not voiced how you felt, and I feel like you need to voice that. But yeah, should we leave it there with the dilemmas and discuss the topic of the week?
Okay, guys, if you have been online at all in the past week, you have 100% seen this viral Willy Wonka experience that happened in Glasgow. Oh my God, it was absolute chaos. Do you want to give some background on it?
So, from what I've read, there's a Willy Wonka experience in Glasgow that has been advertised online using AI generated images that make it look amazing, like how you would imagine it in the film. And people have literally turned up, and I don't know if you guys have seen the photos. We'll post them on the Instagram story if you haven't. If not, just type them into Google. It's literally an empty warehouse with a few props in. It's so hilariously bad. And how much is it to get in? £35 a person?
£35 to get in. So it was so bad, guys. It was literally this empty warehouse to the point where parents actually called the police because they believed that they'd been scammed by this experience. Like, honestly, if you go online and search at the Willy Wonka experience, it was absolutely hilarious. And that's not even the kicker. One of the things was it was actually an AI generated script. So it didn't have any sort of like playwriting. It was literally an AI generated whole experience, and there's such funny clips from it. There's this thing called the unknown that's going around right now, which you can see in comments, which is like it's got nothing to do with Willy Wonka whatsoever. It's basically these people in big
Exactly.
black suits scaring children. And like
It's
these
not
children
even
are
in the
crying
film.
because of this experience. Yeah, it's not in the film, but it's absolutely hilarious. It's one of the funniest things that's ever happened online.
Yeah, so basically, this whole unknown thing is like this person with black and silver face paint on their face standing behind a full length mirror and just like peeping out and being like, I'm the unknown, and like saying weird stuff. And kids are like screaming, crying because what the hell is the unknown? Firstly, that's not even in Willy Wonka Charlie and the Chocolate
I
Factory.
I have something that says what it is. The Unknown is a made-up villain called the Unknown. It is an evil chocolate maker who lives in the walls. As well as that, the event had no chocolate. Kids were given a single jelly bean and a cup of lemonade.
A single jelly bean. I don't know if
For
this is a
the Willy
social
Wonka
experiment.
experience.
For
Oh my
£35,
god.
you're getting a person that's AI reading an AI generated script behind like a B&M mirror in an empty warehouse with one rainbow arch, a jelly bean, and a glass of lemonade. I think I'd call the police as well because I'd have to get them to restrain me. I'd be that angry. I'd be about to fight the bloody owner.
And
Hold
one
me
school,
back.
yeah, one school actually brought like the kids on a school trip for this, and you see
Oh,
videos of this unknown figure coming out like it's the unknown. All the kids are like no,
it's
like they
like,
are absolutely terrified. It's so funny. They're crying. It's hilarious. I've seen some tweets about it. Your terminally online friend explaining the Glasgow Willy Wonka experience and the Kate Middleton situation to your blissfully on offline friend. And that kind of feels like what it's like to be online this past week. Like just these
oh.
general situations that have happened that are hilarious.
Yeah, I haven't heard about the Kate Middleton thing, so I'm hoping you can enlighten me on that. But yeah, the Willy Wonka thing is insane. I think it's crazy that people can just like start a project and start charging people for that. I would 100% ask for my money back. And also, apparently, the people who've been working there like haven't been paid properly. All of that. Like, there's a whole scandal about it. It seems like the whole organization was like this huge money making scheme with no effort put in. They've scammed not only their own staff but also the people who are going to like visit as well. So yeah, this is very bizarre. I don't know how they quite got away with that.
It's actually hilarious as well. On TikTok, all of the actors who partook in it, like the actor for The Unknown, the actor for that woman in the green wig, they've all come out with story times about how they haven't been paid, about how it was
Mm.
ridiculous, it was AI generated, about how they were like, it's a mockery of actors. But I think it's so weird how this could potentially be like the future of filmmaking, of like playwriting. Like AI is just going to be able to do it all. Like obviously I work in marketing, so I'm very familiar with ChatGPT and everything artificial intelligence, and it can be very easily used to make scripts for things. So this might actually be how it is. I know there was that whole scandal with the new Will.i.am and Britney Spears song that came out a few months ago, where that was actually AI generated. So Will.i.am and Britney Spears released a song collaboratively together, but this AI model had actually taken snippets from both of their voices, merged them together with this AI written song, and they published it. So it's so odd how now we're not even going to be able to know if a human's written a play or if it's AI. So
Yeah,
kind of
I
food
saw
for
something
thought.
about somebody's voice being like a sample or something in a Will.i.am song, and they're in like beef about it now. I don't remember who it was about, but somebody. Oh, it was I was watching this guy on TikTok, and he calls it alternative history, and it's all like social media and pop culture. And one of the ones he was talking about was Talisa, the N Dubs and the judge on X Factor. And
Yes.
apparently her voice was a sample in a Will.i.am song or something, and she sued him or something like that. I can't quite remember, but I would absolutely love to get that guy on the podcast. We should maybe reach out to him and see if he wanted to, because he's got quite a small TikTok actually, so he might be willing to come on. But he tells some really funny alternative history, and I'd love to like get a couple of those on at some point. If not, then maybe I can just ask him for permission to use some of his topics. But yeah, really interesting. But yeah, tell me about the Kate Middleton thing, because I'm really not aware of this.
Okay, so another thing that's been going on the internet this week is very odd. There's two very culturally significant things that have happened in the span of, I think it was like 2 days.
Hmm.
So, if you're not aware of this, there is currently a conspiracy going around about Kate Middleton, about how she hasn't been seen since Christmas Day. And everybody thinks that she's either died, gone missing, or had a BBL. So, Kate Middleton was last seen in public on Christmas Day, where she was photographed at the Royal Blue Church with her family. She was then announced on the January 17th that she was going for planned abdominal surgery. So obviously, she's going in for surgery January 17th. It's now March 2nd. And typically, the royal family, specifically the Princess of Wales, are very prevalent online. Like they're constantly going to events, like on behalf of the Welsh people and just like the UK people in general. Like their kind of whole job is to make like public appearances. And then she actually hasn't been seen since, and everybody's coming up as to reasons to why. Some other things that fed into these suspicions is Prince William has actually cancelled a number of planned appearances, including the funeral of his own godfather, so he hasn't attended that. And he hasn't given any reasons as to why, and everybody's kind of suspecting that it's potentially something's happened to Kate. She hasn't been seen. She's gone in for surgery, which has a relatively short recovery time. And yeah, obviously
Hmm.
her husband's pulling out of events, something could have happened. So yeah, some of the things that are going around, people think she might have had a BBL, which I don't think so, but I think
Kate
that's quite a fun thing to
Middleton from the
suspect.
royal family having a BBL. I'm sorry, everyone's saying Molly May's had a BBL and liposuction on the arms. I don't think she would risk her life when she has a baby putting herself through the most dangerous cosmetic procedure ever. People die from BBLs all the time. I
Mhm.
don't think Kate Middleton has gone in for a BBL. Can't lie. I don't think Queen Lizzie would be looking down like, yeah, slay. She'd be rolling around in her grave if she knew Kate Middleton had BBL. She'd be like honestly friends with Meghan after that rather than Kate, which would be like insane.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna have to rule out the BBL. I've actually just looked online now, and apparently a spokesman said that she's currently recovering well from this planned abdominal surgery. Um, yeah, and she hasn't been seen
Yeah,
since.
so it
To be
actually got
honest,
so it got so big to the point where I think it was today or yesterday, Buckingham Palace had to issue a statement saying like Kate's recovering well, because they obviously hadn't put out anything, and everything did look quite suspicious with William not attending this funeral. So they put out this statement, the one that you're reading now, I'm assuming yesterday or
Mm,
today, I'm sure it was.
mm,
But I just thought it was hilarious. A lot of people said that with this abdominal surgery, you're likely to have like a catheter. Which like is
mm.
obviously like a bag if you can't like urinate yourself. Like it kind of just obviously goes into this bag, and like she might not want to be photographed with that, which like you kind of get. But I just think this whole thing is so funny because over the past week
Mm.
this Willy Wonka experience has happened, and people are saying Kate Middleton is dead or had a BBL. So it's just funny.
Yeah,
Can you
it must be
imagine
very
that
hard
getting?
being in the limelight. Like,
Mm.
literally, you don't show yourself for a month or so, and people are going and saying you're dead. Like, that wouldn't be very nice to read about yourself, would it? Probably the realistic thing of what's happened is she's had this surgery. The paparazzi and stuff, they don't just like listen to orders. Like, we know that they literally hacked Harry's phone. Like, the papers, they're ruthless. So probably what's happened is they're all still taking pictures of her, but they're like highly paying these people off, or obviously they've got a lot of influence and they love Kate and William. So it's probably like they've got like a royal order or whatever to say that like they're not allowed to publish anything about her at the moment. So I'm sure she has been spotted out, but like they just haven't published the photos, and that's probably because maybe she's not looking and feeling her best and she doesn't really want that online. Um
And I think a lot of like newspapers have a lot of respect for Kate as well, as opposed to obviously what happened with Meghan Markle. Like
yeah.
her image is very protected, I feel. So maybe she's gone to extreme lengths to make sure she hasn't been photographed in this time if she's not in like the best sort of state, because the
Mm,
image that's procured of her online is very like refined, I would say, in
yeah.
comparison to a lot of the royals. Even
Yeah.
like William, like his and not yeah, William. Even his image can be a bit like tainted because of the whole affair scandal, which is obviously just a rumor, but things come out about him, but you never ever see anything about Kate negatively in the newspapers. She's kind of the nation's sweetheart
Mm,
and seen as more of probably like a celebrity than a royal member of the family. She's kind of like a style icon, a lot of people say she is.
mm,
So
yeah.
yeah, interesting, but it's just like a funny rumor. Can you imagine one of the royals getting a BBL? I think we would notice. They're potentially one of the most like photographed couples in the
Mm,
UK, so I think we would notice if she had a BBL.
definitely. And I feel like the BBL era is kind of over, isn't it? Like it's all about being slim again now. So I don't think Kate Middleton will be getting a BBL. But you never know, never
Yeah.
say never. Um, but yeah, some interesting topics. Not ones that I'd really knew that much about, but now I feel like I do. So that's good. How did you find out about this then? Was it on Instagram or TikTok? Because I don't use Twitter. I don't have
TikTok is all over
Twitter.
TikTok. It's all over TikTok at the moment. Everybody's like making
Um,
rumors. Even when I was looking on this thread about this Willy Wonka experience coming through, there was somebody that photoshopped a picture of Kate Middleton into that woman with the green wig saying Kate Middleton's been spotted at the Willy Wonka experience. It's just so funny.
Oh, it's like
But
Barbie and
yeah,
Oppenheimer when they just became like one, and it was like memes about both in one. Everything just merges together now, and it's so funny. It's like when two worlds collide, honestly. But
yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much it for this week's news, guys. We hope you enjoyed, and we hope you enjoyed the dilemmas. Yet again, if you'd like to send us in your dilemmas, then please send them over to gosspodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow our socials, which is what's the goss.pod on Instagram and what's the goss.pod on TikTok as well. Am I right? Something like that. You'll
Yes.
find us on there. But yeah, we're available on all platforms. Hopefully, this video will be on YouTube and some of it in TikTok as well. So that's good. But yeah, I hope you guys have
Question of the week,
enjoyed.
guys, as
We
well. I think we should do a little question of the week themed around one of the dilemmas we had. I
Mhm.
think we should do question of the week this week. We'll put a little poll up on our Instagram story, so make sure you go over there. We'll do your boyfriend takes his childhood girl best friend to the spa. How do you feel? So I'll put two options up there if you guys like it or not. I know we have some people on our Instagram who are diehard like anti girl best friend, and others who are like, fair enough. Like you can go to the spa with her. Like, okay.
Yeah,
Anyway, we'll read out those results next week. Everything is anonymous. If you have any nightmarish stories about girl best friends as well, please do let us know because it'll just add to the long list. So
yeah.
yeah.
Let us know, guys, and we will see you in next week's episode. Bye.
Bye.